up, you guys? All right, I wanted to do a little card reading, check in, see what we need to know right now. So let's just do that. Let me pull a few cards, see what comes through. Let's see, we're getting... Hold on. Okay, so underneath the deck, I'm going to pull these three. Underneath the decks, this is what I'm seeing. Underneath this oracle deck, we're getting Hestia, the goddess of sanctuary. No matter where I am home. The most sacred sanctuary is found within me. But this is in the reverse. So it could be this feeling of not feeling at home, feeling displaced, feeling uncomfortable, either in your own skin, like in your body, or even feeling uncomfortable in the environment that you're in right now. So maybe in your home environment. But like, I think it's always important to understand, like, as within, so without. And I learned this lesson the hard way by living with family for many years when I was building my business. And although I have a very nice family, like it's not easy as an adult to live with your parents, right? Because a lot of your shit's going to come up. You kind of feel like you're a teenager again. So I learned the lesson that whatever I was kind of manifesting in my outer world when I lived with them was also a reflection of how I was feeling within myself. And the more that I shifted how I felt inside, the better it was at home. And then eventually I moved out. So I'm just getting that if your environment is really not feeling good to you right now, whether it's your actual physical home or your body, like you're not feeling good in your body, or both. The other part of this is that, okay, so we're getting under there, the Page of Pentacles, Seven of Cups reversed, and then Nine of Cups reversed. There's just like this lack of satisfaction here. There's like a lack of emotional fulfillment, and it's almost like you're not even confused anymore about why you're not happy. I feel that maybe in the past you were experiencing more confusion around what was missing for you, or you felt like, I don't know why I'm not feeling fulfilled here, but I'm not feeling fulfilled, or maybe you had a lot of options and you weren't sure what to pick. It's almost like you know what you want, but you're not getting what you want. Nine of Cups reversed. You're not feeling emotionally satisfied right now. And the first card to come up was Page of Pentacles. You have to do something differently. Like, this is a step in the material world, something that you choose to do differently. I'll just clarify this. Let me get, yeah, I'm getting the World reversed. There's a lesson that's in progress. It hasn't fully wrapped up, but it's really close. You're really close to the end of this lesson. But it's like you have to take a step forward physically, not just sit around and think about it, not just worry about it, because it's almost like emotionally you know what you want. You're just not getting it because I feel you have to take that step. And that's why this cycle hasn't ended yet. Whatever it is. Now you have to discern what that means to you, what step that might be. There is some emotional healing that definitely needs to take place, because Temperance in the reverse is saying that you're emotionally imbalanced, which is showing up here, right? Seven of Cups reversed, Nine of Cups reversed. It's like, yeah, you're not feeling satisfied. So there's some emotional healing, but what can you do to balance this out? Let's just ask. What can you do to shift this energy of feeling emotionally dissatisfied, especially if it has to do with your home life? Queen of Pentacles reversed. Okay, let me clarify. Court cards, I always clarify. Ugh. Page of Swords upright, more court cards. Are you serious? Knight of Pentacles reversed and the Star. Okay, let me see what I feel here intuitively. There could be money issues. There could be like feeling unstable in the material realm, but it's like in order to feel stable, you're going to have to do something differently. You're going to have to approach things differently, or take an actual step. I'm just seeing someone taking a small step instead of feeling overwhelmed that you think you have to take 100 steps, which you might need to take 100 in totality. But right now, it's like, can you just take one step forward? Can you just do one thing differently? One thing will lead to the next thing. There's also this this kind of weird energy here. I'm feeling like resentment energy, almost like you want to blame someone else for the reason why you're financially unstable or that things aren't going your way. Like, again, as I always say, you guys, and it's a tough pill to swallow, but we really can't transform ultimately if we're in victim mode. And it's not easy, because when things are not going your way and you do feel slighted, or you feel like things are, like there's an injustice happening, it's really hard to not feel victimized. And I'm not saying that no one experiences anything that's hurtful. I'm not what's the word? Like, I'm not denying you of your experience. I'm just saying, if you really want to heal and move forward, then we can't be blaming other people for why our life looks the way that it does, even if on the surface it appears that it's that person's fault. It's like you co-created this situation, and that's why the advice here is that you're going to have to take that step. But it is a small step, because the page is the first one in the court cards. So then we're also getting Knight of Pentacles reversed and the Star upright. Now, I love that the Star here is coming upright, because it's like you are moving towards your destiny. Like, your destiny unfolding in a positive way is definitely available to you. It's here. It's like showing up in the reading, but it's like you're being loyal to things that are not serving you, and almost disloyal to your own needs and desires. Hence the emotional fulfillment upside down. I feel it's giving martyrdom. It's giving, I'm sacrificing myself for the sake of other people. I'm putting my emotional needs on the back burner for others, and now I'm feeling really bitter and resentful about it. But it's like you can't like put all your needs aside and ignore yourself and ignore your own needs, and then and be people pleasing and shut down your desire for everybody else so that everyone else is happy, and then be bitter about it, because it's like you chose that. So then you're gonna have to start doing things differently, and it might, like I said, be a very small step that leads to the next step. But that is a pattern that you learned, right? We learn these things usually from our parents. And so if we saw a parent do this, then we do it unconsciously. We repeat it. Or we kind of manifest people who are takers. They might be givers, but when they give, there's always a string attached. There's always an agenda. There's always like an IOU attached to it. And yeah, if you've struggled with any kind of like codependency, like then you're really putting your needs aside. You're like self-abandoning to take care of other people. And you can get caught up in these situations where all of a sudden your needs don't exist anymore. And then when you're not getting all of your sort of generosity, it's not really generosity, because it's coming also with an agenda, because you want validation in return, you want to feel needed, you want to feel wanted. It's not the correct way to feel desired, right? There's a healthy way to do that. But if you're doing that, if you're self-abandoning and then you're upset because other people aren't meeting your needs, or all of a sudden your desires don't exist and you feel like you're trapped in everyone else's world and you're miserable and everyone else is perfectly happy and you're pissed off about it, well, then you've got to change things up. So let's go back to the beginning here. We're getting St. Bridget. It says, Our Lady of Exalted Light. Oh my God, I didn't even know it said this. I give endlessly. Okay, so do you know what I was just saying here? I give endlessly, but if you're giving endlessly, but deep down it's because you want to feel needed, because that's how you get your self-esteem from other people. You're like sourcing it from the people in your life, but you've ignored all of your own needs and abandoned them to make everyone else happy, and now you're upset about it. It's like you can only give endlessly if you're truly giving without strings attached. And that's not the easiest thing to do. So it says here, this is like and this card is also in the reverse. It says, I give endlessly because the light is without end. My soul is all I need. But see, if you're giving endlessly, but it's not coming from light, it's coming from your shadow. So it's coming, like I said, with an agenda, transactional. Again, if you source your esteem from giving to others, but you ignore your own needs, that leads to anger and resentment. Because we can't give from an empty cup. We can, but it's not going to feel good. It's going to create a lot of suffering. And that's a pattern for a lot of people that found my videos, because that's something that I've been helping people with for years, to stop self-abandoning, to start filling their own cup and really be there for themselves, so that then when you're giving to people, you're not giving from emptiness, you're not giving from burnt out resentment, you're not giving from like this martyrdom. You're giving because you genuinely have more to give. You're a cup and you're in overflow, and of course then when you're in overflow you have plenty to give, and it doesn't hurt, it doesn't feel bad, it doesn't feel shitty. You're more than happy to give when you fill your own cup first. Like, I don't make videos or serve my clients if I'm burned out. I take a break and then I come back when I feel better, even if it's just a day. Well, I have a very consistent self-care practice and spiritual practice, but if you don't, then start there. Because the more that you feel full, the easier it is to give. But if you feel absolutely exhausted and burned out, and then you're blaming other people, this energy is giving me like blaming. Like, this person's looking at this feminine energy in the reverse. So I'm not saying it's a man and a woman, but it could be. And it's almost giving childlike energy, like projecting the mother wound onto this person. Like, it's your fault that I'm this way. It's your fault that I'm unstable. It's your fault that I'm broke. It's your fault, blah, blah. Fill in the blanks. But this definitely is not the answer. This is like the wound playing out. So with the Saint Bridget card reversed, I give endlessly because the light is without end. You've got to tap into that light. You've got to tap into source, you know, so that you're coming from overflow. Look what came up. The big dichotomy. Lovers and the Devil card are the exact, basically like the same energy, but one is the light attribute and one is in the shadow. And then we've got 10 of Cups in the middle reversed. A lot of emotional discontent here. And this is like family discontent. This is when you're on your own, like not feeling good, self-fulfillment, and this is like fulfillment with others. So it could include other people in your life, a family unit, etc. It's in the reverse as well. It's giving unhappy, it's giving like everyone else in the family is happy and I'm secretly, I'm suffering in silence. And sandwiching that card is the Lovers and the Devil. You can see in the Lovers card, they're free. They're naked, they're free, there's no chains, there's an angel, like the trinity of like the divine or source energy, and then the masculine and the feminine here. You know, this card can indicate choices, it can indicate actual love, but it's like the light attribute. Then we've got the Devil card, and it's like the same exact image, except in the Devil card, where is it? This one. We've got this attachment energy, and the people have chains around them, and they're chained by their necks together. They're not together like by choice, they're together from like a wound. And so this is the difference between like love is freedom and love as attachment, unhealthy attachment. And there's a big lesson here. And it's okay to be here, because guess what? None of us knows any better until we know better. If you grew up in this dysfunction where people were together not because they felt like they were there to freely be there and genuinely happy about it, because they felt obligated, because they felt guilted into being there, because they felt shame to be on their own, or they didn't have enough to do it by themselves, so they needed to be with another person, and then it creates these like entanglements. Like, most of us have to learn these lessons, especially people that find my videos. Like, this is a really big pattern that we're here to resolve. And so the first step to doing this is to start to put your needs first. But of course, what happens with unhealthy relationships like this is that if the pattern has always been to self-abandon in order to preserve a connection where you feel like you're chained to the other person, you feel like you're trapped, you feel like if you leave you're going to get punished, you feel like you can't live without this other person, but you can't live with them either. It's like a love-hate relationship. Or there might not even be love there anymore. There might just be fear. Fear of being alone, fear of disappointing people, etc. Well then, as you start to put your needs first and you stop abandoning yourself, it's going to change the dynamic of the connection really quickly. And that will be upsetting to the people who are benefiting from your self-sacrifice. Because if you're sacrificing yourself to please everyone else, and so other people seem genuinely happy, but you're miserable and you're allowing that to continue, then it's up to you to start to say no to certain things and start to put your needs first. But it's going to disrupt it's like there's a certain equilibrium right now. It's dysfunctional, but it's like you're not disrupting the peace. But as you start to put yourself first and you start to slip, because if you really look, you can't see super closely, but the chains are loose. They could lift the chain off their neck. It's like they could just take it off. Sometimes we get like almost like Stockholm syndrome. We're like with a person and we're so unhappy and the person doesn't even treat us genuinely well. They might be fake nice. It could be a performance relationship where it's like it's all good and friendly in front of other people, like kids, family members, or whatever, but behind closed doors, it's like you ignore each other, you resent each other, you don't have anything in common anymore. You don't even want to be there. But in front of other people, it's like, put on a happy face. And then you want to like die. The event's over and you like go into your room and you want to like stab your eyes out. So these people this person could like, one or both of these people could lift the chain off. But if you lift the chain off, but the other person's still got the chain on, metaphorically speaking, the balance is going to disrupt the status quo of whatever is happening here, whatever dysfunction is going on here. As soon as one person stops playing the game is going to abruptly start to come to an end. And that's really uncomfortable. That's why I've said over and over again, like, this type of transformation isn't easy. It's worth it. You'll look back when you were in a situation, like, if you've ever been in a relationship like this, and they're to varying degrees of severity. Like, they could be very, like, light. You're not happy, but it's not super miserable. Or you could be, like, with a person who's really, really dysfunctional, and it's really painful. And you feel really afraid to leave. Almost like Stockholm Syndrome. I feel bad for them. You feel bad for the person who's like treating you like shit. And it's like, what is this trauma? What is this unhealthy bond that I have with this person? But as you start to free yourself, and it is coming up right, which means this is definitely still happening. This is an active pattern. You're the common denominator, so you'll have to be the one that takes that step forward. Now, we are getting the High Priestess and Neduana, and it says, I am one with my soul, and my soul is a legacy of love. This card is coming in the upright, and we're getting Wheel of Fortune upright, Eight of Pentacles upright, and the Six of Wands reversed. Immediately, I feel, after everything that I just shared here, as soon as you start to, even if it's just like one day, I don't know, you're in like this, it's giving dysfunctional family, but it might look good on the surface. Like it might be picture perfect on paper, but like emotionally it's really dysfunctional, or quietly behind closed doors, it's not what it looks like to the public eye. So it could be one thing in front of other people and something very dark and different when no one else is around. And those are the worst, I think. Those are some of the hardest situations to get out of, because you have like almost cognitive dissonance, because you start like gaslighting yourself into thinking that it's good when it's not healthy and it's not good. And you're not happy, and yet you're so used to denying your own happiness, you start forgetting you might not even know what it's like to genuinely be happy and healthy with another person who doesn't want to keep you chained to them, or who doesn't want to like commiserate with you or have this like unhealthy bond. There are people out there that want to have healthy relationships that will give each other space to grow and be imperfect without making you feel like you're chained there. So as soon as you start changing your behavior, things are going to shift really fast. I keep saying this and I see it. It's like it's not going to take much to change this dynamic. I'm not saying it's all going to come undone immediately, but I'm saying as soon as you start to act differently and you start to show up different in this relationship and you start to put some of your needs first, like maybe one of your needs is that you need some time alone. Like if you're not feeling good in your body, or you're feeling like, I don't know, you're not feeling good at home, then you might need to be like, hey, I need a day away from people, or I need a break from some family events, or like I need to have a week where I can just spend some time alone. And the other person might be like, how dare you? Like, who do you think you are? But these are the moments where it's like you better start to put your foot down, but just know that it's going to change things. And this is going to require focused effort, because what's going to happen is that it's going to change the way that people perceive you. And this is the part that people get afraid of. People aren't going to like me. They're going to judge me. They're going to criticize me. They're going to think they're going to call me a bad person. They're going to, whatever, smear campaign and try to ruin my reputation, or this might change my reputation. But it's like you're not happy, so choose. Do you want to be happy, or do you want to be popular? Do you want to be happy, or do you want people to like you, or do you want to genuinely be happy? You can't be genuinely happy and everyone's going to like you. Sometimes people aren't going to like you. And if those people benefit from your pain, then they're really not going to like it when you start to put yourself first. And that is difficult when it's a family, if it's a family unit. And so, yeah, there's like a reputation change here. It's like some people are going to be like, they're not going to like it. But if you can focus and you're really committed to this change, things are going to shift very quickly. But like I said, as you start to put your foot down and you start to break this unhealthy bond and you start to move towards free choice, like it's like, I want to be in a relationship where I genuinely want to be here and I don't feel like it's this obligation that's choking me. Or it just feels like this sticky, and it's like enmeshment instead of just genuinely love, like wanting to be there because you genuinely love each other. People get pissed and it changes things, and some people really want to protect their this is about public image and how people perceive you. And some people are so addicted to how people perceive them because maybe they have low self-esteem or they have not a healthy self-concept. So it's all about the public image. That's why I was like, this feels like almost like a dysfunctional family where you're acting like, put on your happy face, and everyone's like performing when you're around other people, but behind closed doors, it's like awful. It's not pleasant. It's not enjoyable. People aren't genuinely happy here. And I'm sure neither party is happy here. They feel chained to each other, but it's like you're pretending. And as soon as you stop pretending, well, like I said, if people are addicted to being perceived in a certain way and they're really obsessed with their image and wanting to be liked and wanting people to see them a certain way, like I said, as soon as someone puts, it's like I'm seeing an image of a still water, and then you kind of like tap it and then the ripple starts. Well, as I said, if everything's being held together, it's almost like a puppet master. And it's like, everybody needs to act a certain way for this mirage to continue, for this masquerade to continue. But to keep up the facade, everyone needs to participate. And if one person stops participating in the facade, the whole thing's going to fall apart pretty fast. But you want it to. Deep down, you do want this change. And so if you can commit to the effort that it's going to require to come out of the darkness and into the light, and if you can deal with people's projections, because people are going to maybe they call you names, maybe people try to really make it ugly for you, whoever the person is that's breaking the cycle, who chooses to break. It's usually one person. Both people are not, if you're in a situation like this or a relationship like this, that's this type of unhealthy bond, like both people are not usually on board to change it. One person's going to be the one that's like, I'm ready to change this, and the other person will probably fight it, and you just have to have the strength or maybe get support, even if it's just like moral support from a friend or anything. Like if you feel like you're completely alone, maybe you should reach out to somebody, or maybe you need to do it alone. Maybe that's your lesson. But all I'm saying is that it takes a lot of courage to break these patterns because people try to punish you. And a loss of your reputation, which could be really scary, you just have to decide like what matters more, people liking you and perceiving you in a specific way, or you being honest with yourself and actually moving towards genuine happiness. We don't get there without a little bit of, sometimes it's a little bit of a struggle to get there if we've been forming unhealthy attachments our whole life and we don't really know what it feels like to be in a happy relationship where we feel free because we didn't learn it. That's okay. So let me just pull one more oracle card to wrap this up. Oh my God, yeah. Kali is like the most intense, fierce, feminine. And it says, the mother of the universe, I release all that doesn't serve me. It's time to be the truth of who I am. That's what I'm saying. This is going to be like a shocker to people. Kali is like fear. It's like an axe just chopping through the air, the white noise, the bullshit, whatever it is. It's like, boom. It's hard and heavy, but it also truly is like a humongous pattern will come to an end for your own betterment. But it's like, this is what you're avoiding. The change. I release all that doesn't serve me. You do have to release something that's no longer serving you. And it's time to be the truth of who you are. But you're not telling the truth right now. That's why you're probably feeling really irritated and resentful and dissatisfied. But we can't blame other people for that. That's where you're going to have, if you really want to transform this, you're going to have to take responsibility for the truth of who you are. And then you're going to have to face the wrath of other people, unfortunately, who are going to be really pissed off that you're finally putting yourself first because they don't put themselves first, because they abandon to be liked by other people, abandon their own needs or whatever, or they use other people to fill their voids. And it's just like all of those, but it's so sticky. But once you start to step away and you start to see the light, and you're like, oh my God, there is light in the end of this tunnel. But you still have to go through the tunnel. Because underneath Hestia was the Black Madonna, and it does say here, I transform pain and suffering into a greater capacity to love. You've got to walk through this tunnel, and it is dark and uncomfortable, but again, there is light here. I feel you're so close to the end of the cycle. This isn't the first time that I get a message really similar to this. And the World in reverse, guess what's right after this? The Fool card, a new beginning, a leap of faith, a new start. So that's what I've got for you today. Sending you guys so much love. If I can support you in a one-to-one reading, you can book that below, a 90-minute intuitive session. And everything else that I'm offering is below at the moment in the links. And other than that, I will see you guys in the next one.